Alright, grade 12, let's talk about string grids and 2D arrays. So here's a program. A string grid is a component you can search for over there and you'll find string grid, you just put it on the form. The string grid has rows and columns, and it looks a lot like the 2D array except for a couple of differences. First of all, we can specify over here how many rows we want. So if I want 5 rows, that means 1 row is going to be used for headings, and the same with col count. If I want 4 columns, then 5 must be stipulated here because 1 is going to be a fixed column. They call them fixed columns and fixed rows, so that when you scroll around you still have your headings over there. So we have extra ones, the data's inside and the headings are on the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put headings on the outside of the string grid just to show you how it works. We're going to do it in the onActivate event. So this is string grid is called string grid 1. Okay. So we're going to use I always use the same counters that I will use for 2D array. And we must remember that string grids, they're always going to be numbered as integers, but whatever goes into them has to be a string. So the columns and the rows will always be integers, but whatever goes in must be a string. So if I want to put row 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 across here on the headings, this is how I'm going to do it. Use a for loop, just like I would normally do. Our row equals, if I want to do the rows first, our row equals 1, 2, 4 do, actually no, yeah, this is right. Then we're going to say string grid 1, and here's the tricky part. First of all, we're going to say dot cells, square brackets, the column has to be always 0, and the row is an integer, our row equals into string our row. Maybe I want to say this is row 1, hey? Row and whatever number that is. So this is how we have to remember that string grids numbered from 0, and those are the fixed rows and columns. The 0 represents that very first column. So let's go and have a look what happens when we do that. This is form activate. So there you have it, and that particular cell there is empty. How do we refer to that particular corner cell? Well, that's column 0 and that's row 1, 2, 3. So I'm just going to go and put that in there, that very top one. String grid 1, 0, 0. That's what we refer to, that very top corner cell. I'm going to say this is row 0, column 0, just to demonstrate that that's what it is. Eh? Let's go and run the program and you'll see, oops, string grid, dot cells, I always make that mistake, dot cells, and then the square bracket indexes. See, there it is, row 0, column 0, so it's telling you clearly that's row 0 and column 0. Fine. Now what about putting the headings in the columns? Well, then we have to go for our col equals 1 to 4. Sorry about our copy and paste. So we're going to go from for our col. Of course, we do have to go and close our lines there with semicolons. Our col column. And this has to be turned around. It has to be col first. And see, notice the difference between string grids and 2D arrays. The column comes first and the row is second. So there's that. So let's go and put that in there and display it. There it is, and of course it's a little bit small. I need to widen it a bit. You can see. So it's auto fit, as you can see, it auto fits into your thing. Now, what if you want to make the rows A, B, C, D, E? It was easy enough doing the column 1, 2, 3, 4, hey? And row 1, 2, 3, 4. What do you want to row A, B, C, D, E? Well, that's a tricky one, but sometimes we have to do that. We have to put A, B, C, D, E's in the rows or the columns. Let's do the rows. We're going to have C row. Use a char data type. Okay, and we say for C row equals A. For C row equals A to D. That's 4. That's 4 then. Eh? But I'll have to go and have an integer, because if we don't have an integer, we're going to have a problem. Integer is going to be the address of the row. We cannot go and refer to our row as a character in terms of the address of the row. String grids will only be numbered. Their cells are numbered with numbers, not with characters like you can do with a 2D array. You can number it a character or anything you want. You cannot do that with a string grid. There's rules about string grids. Their indices are always integers. They start at 0, and you can only put strings in a string grid. And what we're doing here is putting chars here now. We're displaying a char. C row is going into the string grid, so therefore we don't have to convert that. Okay, so let's see if that works out. What did I do? I used a counter there so that I could refer to our row over here safely with 1, 2, 3, and 4 as we move from A to D. So that is a trick on how you can put your characters inside the 2D array. I mean the string grid, not the 2D array. It looks like a 2D array, but it isn't. Okay. Now, what if you want to fill that string grid with contents of a 2D array? So I'm going to make up a 2D array here in a button click event. Okay, I'm going to call it ARR 2D colon array, and now I'm going to use A to D, more rows, and 1 to 4 of integer. So I'm going to do that. Okay. So I'm going to refer to my array A to D 1 to 4. Now I'm going to go and put some, I do have to have counters because I want to go and enter random numbers into each one of those boxes of that array. So I call integer, but now because I have C row char data type, so I'm going to use my C row for C row equals A to D do, and then for R col, yeah, I still have a nested for loop, but just different types of counters. 1 to 4 do, and I say AR 2D square brackets C row. Remember the row comes first in a 2D array, but the column comes first in a string grid, but we'll see that again just now. Random range random range. Let's go make numbers from 30 to 40. Okay, so 30 to 40. Oops. Well, I must put math at the top here because I'm using stuff. Now, once we've done that, let's go and display it in the string grid, shall we? Yeah. Now you can use for C row and for whatever, okay? But You can use C row and R col, but as you saw earlier, we had to have actual R row, not C row. We can't use R row, so we have to go and get another integer R row. I'm just using that one. For our string grid, we have to integers only in our indices. So we got a little count over there, so we can increment our row, and then we can display it. String grid 1 dot cells. Well, we've got a cells R row. No, column comes first in the string grid. R col R row equals ARR 2D C row R col. So that is something else, isn't it? That is quite a mouthful. Thing to remember is that string grids numbered, the index of the string grid are integers only. The 2D array can be anything, any characters or integers. But you have to have another counter then if you're going to have a row. In this case, I have a character for my rows. Otherwise, it would be plain sailing. You wouldn't have to even bother with this extra counter there. But because we have that issue, the string grid must have integers, and in this particular array has to has characters for its indices. So what we're doing here is we're converting into string. Why? Because that 2D array is an array of integers. So I have to put into string there. Now let's see if that works. Right, click the button. Oops, what do we have? We have a diagonal. Now that's a little bit stupid, isn't it? Because that's not what we wanted. The string grid is not doing that at all. That is not what we want to have happen. Let's go through this again. A to D, R col 1 to 4. So we increment our row for each Okay, this incrementing is in the wrong place. We need to get our row equal to 0 before the for loop. Remember, our row has to basically be whatever C row is, but in integer format, you know, in form of an integer. In C row is A, our row must be 1, and so on. So that was the problem there. Let's go and see now if that solves it. Click the button. So there we go, some random numbers everywhere. So the 2D array was filled with random numbers, and then we went and put them into the string grid like that. What if our 2D array was not numbered like that? Okay, ARR colon array 1 dot dot 4. This is the easy example. Now talk about going backwards, but this is my easy example. If I want to go and fill that string grid in the easy way, and the integers are 1 to 4 for the rows and for the columns. You don't need to have this here. You don't even need to have the begin and end because you're not doing two things. Very, very simple process now. Everything is streamlined. There it is, simple as anything. Okay, but of course we don't have any numbers in our string grid from 1 to 4, so I'm going to go and put some numbers in that. I mean the array. I called it ARR, didn't I? Sydney, ARR. ARR, our row, 1 to 4. Please. So here we have the 2D array being filled up another 2D array called ARR. This must be ARR here. I row, comma, I col. ARR. ARR is my other array. I just called it ARR to be fast. So this is the easy peasy one, okay? And then this one over here is the difficult one. Now this program will be on the Google Classroom, obviously. I'll put it on there for you to look at. And you can study it and check it out. It's quite fun to do. Just remember the rules that string grids only contain strings, and string grids have indices that are 1 to 1. They start at 0 actually. This column is 0 and that row is 0, as you can see from the reference over there, the display. That's row 0, column 0, and row 0 and column 0. If you remember that, the golden rules, then you will never go wrong. So that's the tricky part of string grids and 2D arrays. Just remember, string grids have to have strings inside them. They are numbered from 0, start at 0 for the column and the row, and the columns and the rows have to be integers. So if you're going to put a 2D array that's got characters in, you have to accommodate that by using extra counters so that you can insert items into the string grid for display, and then you have to convert to string. And then the other thing is it's dot cells. Right, so that's that.